Not sure. Anyways, this is like my 84th take of this, and I've kind of struggled finding anything original to say. Hello, my name is Spencer. I am 23 years old, and I come from Colorado. Lived here my whole life. So yeah, this is my walkaway story. Um, I have one friend to thank for giving me the push that I needed to sort of, just cut my ties with the liberal party, the liberal ideology, the social justice ideology. Um, you know what I'm talking about. So my friend, so if you notice, I happen to have white skin. I am Caucasian. My friend is mixed. I'm just gonna reveal little bit about her, which is totally bad practice on the internet. But she has a black dad and a white mom. She was not raised by her dad. Um, she was raised by her mom. Well, that's a damn shame. I'm not able to find the text message. I must have deleted it. Sort of just breezed through this. George Floyd happened. I went on vacation up into Las Montañas. Um, go stay the weekend at a cabin with one of my friends and his family. Just a sweet little outing. Shot some guns. It was sweet. But so right before I went on vacation, I posted about white privilege and how I did not believe that white privilege existed. Yeah, mistake number one, I guess. I was berated a little bit by some of the people in my community. They were like, yeah, like one of my old best friend, my ex-best friend, came after me. She was like, this is the most effed up thing. She was like, F you for this. Basically just like, I want nothing to do with you anymore. And, being friends, we've had disputes in the past, but she's never gone so far to be like, yeah, F you completely. So I messaged, I was like, hey, if you want to talk about this, maybe we can talk about it. Um, I mentioned just like, here's my perspective. I've never been treated, different or perceivably different than any of the colored people in my circle. I mentioned, like, in my work, in different jobs that I've had, I've seen, colored females rise up above me and they were making more than me. I've been in positions where I was making more than others, and, you know, I guess, uh, I guess just your work ethic, maybe has something to do with that. But, she says back, you haven't been treated worse, that's the point. No one has looked at your skin as a deciding factor for a job. A cop hasn't used unnecessary force because he was threatened by you. Your neighborhood gets funding, the black ones don't. You won't have to teach your kids how to walk down the street and to not wear a hoodie. That is privilege. I mean, it makes sense for sure. I just wish the wording was different. Like systematic preferential treatment, maybe statistical preferential treatment. See, at this point, I had no, I looked at the statistics that the liberal media wanted me to look at, and like they say per capita, more black people are shot and killed by police officers than white people, even though a higher number of white people are shot and killed by police officers. It's just the fact that there's less of a black or minority, colored skin population than white skin population. So when you do like the ratio, it turns out that actually, yes, per capita, more black people are killed by police and locked up. And despite the overwhelming amount of white people who are prosecuted and or like executed in the fashion that we see, pasted all over the internet, it happens to white people too. I guess that's not something we get to talk about. She says, yeah, well, black people don't like to be called N-word. She straight spelled it out. But calling somebody the N-word, right, the N-word, and saying somebody has privileges are two very different things. I get that you don't like the word, but you should understand the term and what the term means. So, You can use your powers to face this racism, otherwise, it just see powers so I can use my powers. My white power, you know? White power is kind of one of the slogans of like, the Nazis or whatever, the KKK, white power. Yeah, this, that's not something that I personally focus on at all. I've never even thought of that. Oh yeah, I'm powerful. I am superior in some way because I'm white. Never once thought that. White people don't like the term because it feels like an attack, and true white privilege means that you don't know what an attack actually is. It's a fact. There's no room for debate. People who are defensive to the term white privilege are a part of the problem. Why is it about you or your feelings when people are fighting to be equal? That's it. Equal. No better, no worse. Just the fucking same. Well, blam. Spencer from day 2 of trying to film my walk away story. I've got some notes here that I want to just interject really quick. I'm rewatching this, trying to edit it, trying to figure out what's important and what's not. Whoa. I was like, why does my arm look so weird? I just wanted to jump in really quick. My friend mentions, you've never been treated different. That's the point. We were driving to Washington, D.C., actually, to go and check out the monument, to check out the White House, the Washington Monument, the White House, Lincoln's Memorial. We wanted to go to, the Smithsonian. We were going to do our, American thing. We were traveling to Mecca, per se. We were going to our freaking, our place. We're going to the Capitol. Excuse me. Now, we're on our way, and my stepdad is, my mom and stepdad smoked weed at the time. This was long before weed was even close to recreational or medical. They had a little bit of weed on them. We're driving through eastern Colorado. We're right up against the border of Colorado and Nebraska, something like that. Northish. Yeah, we're almost to Nebraska. We were driving all the way to Washington, D.C., by the way, and we got pulled over. Stepdad was speeding. He had cruise control on at they said they clocked him at 130 miles per hour. I was young and I didn't really understand speed and stuff, but we were, it felt like we were going normal highway speeds, maybe whatever. Maybe we were going tops 90 from my best recollection, if that. So they said we were going 70 miles. We were going double the speed limit, which I think is a total lie, but we were pulled over. My stepdad was taken to the local jail right away. One of the cops called a tow truck, had me, my mom, and my little brother, who was in a car seat, driven to a podunk motel. They just drove us to a podunk motel. As a 10-year-old, I was afraid, are we about to end up as a CSI Miami? Why would it be CSI Miami? Is that even a show anymore? Anyways, I felt like we were about to get freaking killed by this fat redneck trucker in the middle of absolutely nowhere where no one knew where we were. This is before smartphones, so we didn't have Google. We'd have to find a local computer to be able to contact anybody, or call my sister who was all the way back in, the city. More than 3.5, 4 hours away. Either way, he was taken to jail. He was in jail for 6 months or a year. The reason why his sentence was so short, and they were building a barn, for animals, and he was an indentured servant there, and by trade he's a drywaller, and he basically, while he was there, making 12 cents an hour, 12 cents a day, 32 cents a day. And once they were finished with the barn, once they were finished with his slave labor, they were like, all right, you're free to go now. So you've never been treated differently. You've never been harassed by the police. Wablam! Here we are again with another interjection, because for some reason I cannot keep a thought in my mind. The left uses this all the time, and my friend used this against me. By the way, this is not about me and my friend. This is Pence. Shoutouts to Mike Pence during the RNC. I'm doing it again. But he used the word emblematic instead of instead of representative or representary. This conversation between me and my friend is emblematic of what is happening all over the country, all over the world right now. And so, the other thing I wanted to interject really quick is that in this text message that I'm reading off, she said, like, I told her that it's uncomfortable to be, to have white privilege labeled on me. She said, well, it's uncomfortable for people to use the N-word towards black people. And it's like, first of all, that's a false equivalent. Um, you know, the two things are vastly different. They come from different, you know, societal. They come from different things, if that makes sense. Historically, white only pools, white only movie theaters, white only parks. Back in the day, black children were not allowed to play in public parks. That is like, that straight puts me in a very kind of a guilty place, but at the end of the day, we fought for civil rights. White people and black people came together and fought for the rights of minority communities. It's it's a false equivalent to use, a historically and currently super racist term, and a term that does not exist anymore. The Better Business Bureau exists, labor laws exist, and you can literally be sued, put in jail. You can be for discriminating against somebody because of their color or because of their sexual orientation or their gender or anything. You are not allowed to discriminate against somebody in a workplace because of the color of their skin. White privilege. Where is it? Because I want some. I want some white privilege. Anyways, the conversation treads on. Got me all this got me thinking. It got me to realize, social justice wokeness. Social justice is more important than friendship. And so, man, I told her, she was like, so if you're asking me, the speech you have used thus far has not helped the movement in any way. Again, only taking light from it. And if you can't see that, then the best thing you could do for the movement is say nothing at all. But I guess I have to #check my hatred before I say that, huh? I forgot I left this out. When I was talking about, white privilege, somebody said the reason. Oh my goodness, it's all coming together now, guys. I wish I had this figured out before I filmed all of that, because I don't want to waste the video and have to redo it again. But anyways, the post was the post about white privilege that I had a problem with, that I went and said that it doesn't exist. It said something like #check your privilege. And it's like, check my privilege? Well, I just checked and it's not there. So I put #check my hatred or check your hatred. You know, these people obviously have some deep-seated thing against white people. I actually know for a fact that's true. I grew up in the same world. I had the same ideology. I was raised in public schools. You know, I was indoctrinated too. So I hated white people, old white rich people. I thought they were the problem. That's why my generation cares so much, or loves Bernie Sanders, because he plays the same card that Karl Marx played. Saying, look at all of the poverty, look at all of the wealth. What's the reason for that gap? It must be that the wealthy are corrupt and need to be taxed 80%. Anyways, I said check your hatred. If you're fighting against hatred, You don't go and use hatred, because the same people who you are complaining to, in the end, history proves, are the people you need to get onto your side, you know? And what we don't want is another civil war. That's like definitely what we don't want, for sure. That's why I used, this language. She tells me that the best thing I can do for the movement is say nothing at all. Silence yourself. Be quiet. You're not allowed to speak. That's the essence of that. I said, I seriously can't believe you're taking such a harsh perspective against me. And she was like, yes, make this more about you. And I was like, oh my God. She says in all caps, people are effing dying, Spencer. Who gives a F about what you feel? Who gives an F about what you feel you should be able to say? I don't feel bad about any of this. I just feel bad that someone who has used black culture in their everyday life and has a black friend can't see what's happening and get past BS that doesn't matter for something that does right now. We obviously don't see eye to eye on basic human equality, and I can't deal with this conversation right now. Straight pause. I said, I definitely can see what's going on, and I'm outraged. I guess I'm just seeing other sides of the coin than other people. I literally zeroed in on that for one post, and the other 9, just for a number, are zeroed in on other aspects of all of this. I want the movement to go far, not just burn really hot for a little while. And if people aren't careful, their rhetoric will just damage the whole shit. Burn really hot for a little while, right? That's kind of like where it's at. Ever since, we quit our conversation and we're not able to reach any level of semblance or whatever of an actual decision or actual solution, it has spiraled out of absolute control. The founder of the BLM movement is a trained Marxist. We all saw, we all have the opportunity to research what happened under Marxism, under Leninism, under Stalinism, the Soviet Union, the Gulag Archipelago, straight up hardcore concentration camp responsible for whack stuff in the name of communism. Communism happily exterminates its people. So, and Marxism is communism, by the way, and so is socialism. They're all different masks on the same thing. She says, that's understandable. I was like, I'm focusing in on this, and I'm focusing in on this. I want this movement to go far. I want there to be a legitimate end clause to Black Lives Matter. I don't want Black Lives Matter to have to exist for the rest of all of human history, because Black lives do matter. It is self-evident and it is true that Black lives do matter. Once the movement reaches that, and you don't stop, obviously, but it's like you won. You got there. So I digress. If I end up seeing shit that I think is anti-white, I'll point it out. But if I see anything that's anti-black, I'll point it out too. I'm against anything that's against anyone except for dirty cops. So she came, kind of apologized. I was like, it's totally, I'm still fighting for our friendship. I'm like, it's totally okay. That's why I didn't react back at you immediately. All this stuff has been, so effing heated. I was out of town for the first few days of all of this and had to digest it in like 2 hours, so I was also effed up off of it all and being reactionary. Well, it would be super tight if we can agree on our baseline morals. This is her. And if we can agree on our baseline morals, that they are the same, and that the small details we might differ on, and we can move past this and stay friends. Seemed like it was legit. I saw a meme kind of right after this, and I thought it was, relevant to what had just happened. Maybe it was shots at her, but I posted a meme that had a black kid and a white kid. Excuse me again, I apologize. And the black kid was like pointing at the white kid, and he was like, "You've never been judged by the color of your skin." And the white person was like, "I just was. Right there. You just did that." And that's when it was game over. I had, said my apology. I had undermined my own self, and I told her that I supported Black Lives Matter, which if I were to have studied a little more, I, would have said, I don't support the movement, I support the sentiment, but at the end of the day, like, what I'm saying is just as legit as what you were saying. She couldn't handle that. She can't, the left cannot handle any, like, any L, they can't take an L on anything. Once the the left L, they already have their L. They've already lost. Anyways, the left cannot take an L to save their lives. As soon as they do, if they take one L on one thing, it's like the stack of cards comes down. That's that is the bottom card, and all of their arguments start going out the window. As soon as one thing goes out, all of it goes out, because it's all based in reactionary, hateful, twisted, pessimism biased, rhetoric. We went on, talked about the protests in Denver. We had a bunch of protests in Denver, and for the first couple nights, it was the same as everywhere else: fire and tear gas and people being beat by riot cops. Which, did you throw something at them? Did you throw something at them? Because if you throw something at a guy in riot gear or a girl in riot gear, they're gonna whoop your butt. They're gonna smack you, son. And if you're right in their face screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, and you go for like a bat, or if you go for a knife, or if you have something in your hand and you start waving it around and stuff, that, like, what if I came up into your face and started doing that? Like, you'd be like pretty defensive, maybe. You might get a little defensive. So the rest of this conversation happened. I have one more message from her, and thank God, because it kind of will help me explain the very end of this. And apologize if this has taken so long, but it's obviously really deep. There's a lot to it. I still have a lot to learn, and I hope she's learned a lot from it and is still learning to this day. And I hope the left and the right can come together one day and say, hey, the popular left right now is no longer liberal. They're not the party of the people right now, and they want nothing more than to destroy our country. That's just plain and simple. They want to destroy our country. So I said something about, I sent that second thing out, just was judged, and she like came after me. She was like, how dare you? Or no, so this happened after So I don't know how we got to this point, but I kind of pointed out our socioeconomic places in the world right now. I'm this, and this. I'm 23, male, white, straight. I'm, fully capable, fully physically capable, and I have not achieved much in my life. I got my GED 2.5 years after I was supposed to graduate from high school. Dropped out after my freshman year. I went to some of my sophomore year, and I work for minimum wage. To this day, I make maybe 30 cents more than minimum wage in my area. This person I pointed out, black, female, fully physically capable, to be fair, and she is the manager of 3 stores. She's like the not quite general manager, but basically the general manager / regional manager of 3 different stores. She makes maybe over double what I make. She lives in a 3-story fenced backyard, like a legitimate home. She lives in an actual home. She has multiple cars that are nice. She's kind of living the American dream a little bit, and I'm kind of not. And I was telling her, this is because of choices. I have chosen my life path, and you have chosen your life path. As a result of you choosing your path, you were able to rise above poverty, rise above, the lower middle class, and now you are making it. You're making it. You're there. And you're black. And I have, and all of the decisions that I have made across my entire life have led me to where I'm at, and I'm making it. but I'm not making it near as well as she is. What's the deal here? Where is this white privilege that you're talking about? Where is it? Maybe it's competent privilege, or if it's, just if you want it, you get it. If it's desiring, it's what you desire privilege. If you set out a desire for something, life is going to come together and figure out how to make that happen for you. Anyways, I hope this has kind of maybe made people feel a little more heard, a little more felt. Hopefully you can relate to this story. It's absolutely insane. As it stands, me and this person are not friends. She has blocked me, and on my Facebook feed, I have gone 100%, 150% Trump, America, Constitution, conservative, Republic, the Republic. Yeah, every one of my posts lately has been 100% political, 100% swayed right. And I don't know about her because it's blocked and I can't see what she's, how she has developed through this. If she's more radical, if she's less, if I made any sort of impact on her life, whereas she made one of the most drastic impacts in my life. Most likely we have both just dug our heels in as hard as we can. And hopefully this video helps people dig their feet into the correct thing. Whatever. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Sorry if this took 457 years for me to explain, but it was really deep. And yeah, on to the next one.